Well, what do you say? Let's get started. And this might last more than 3 minutes, but 3 minutes with Jimmy. We might make it 5 minutes with Jimmy. I don't know. We're just getting started. Well, like I said in my first video, life is a paradox. And if it's obvious, then most likely it's going to lead you down the wrong way. We've been told a bunch of lies, and we've fallen for it, and it's nobody's fault. But now we can unravel that. But we got to look, life is really, if you will, take a moment. Take a little mouse in its little cage, and it's in that wheel just going. That's pretty much what's going on every day. Life really is like Groundhog Day. It's the same thing every day. And if the same things and same situations keep appearing in our life, why does it keep appearing? And there's a way we can stop that. Okay, because it's nothing but data that's replaying itself. And it's replaying itself out here, if you will, because we never took the time. And it's always something that we don't like's happening in our life, and it just keeps reappearing in different forms and different people. It's because we didn't, if you will, rise above it. We fought it. I know some people that somebody can do something to them and they'll stay bitter, right? They just feel like they've got a reason to be bitter at this person because they did that. And they remain bitter. They think it, for that moment, that split moment, it makes them feel good. And when they think about it every now and then, well, he did this to me, and it gives them a moment of feeling alive. But then it goes away. Okay? We're so busy wanting this world to pat me on the back, to do something so I can feel better about myself. We're always doing something because we want to feel better. And we think that if I can just, get mad at that person, I'm right. For that moment, I feel better. But then I'm off searching for the next moment to feel better. You ever notice that? We're always, the reason for suffering, okay, is because we desire something, right? As soon as I desire something, I'm saying I don't have it. And there's something in me that's not going to be happy until it gets it. So now I've created suffering. Right? It didn't happen to me. I did it to myself. We really are creators of our own reality, of what's going on. So as soon as I want something, or I think I don't have something, then there's this thing in me that starts striving. When we can just relax. There's all these spiritual paths. You need to get your chakras lined up, or you need to do yoga, or you need to go and be a Buddhist somewhere, or Kundalini, or whatever that stuff is. I've heard these things and I've attempted them, and something keeps telling me, well, that doesn't work right with me, and am I wrong? Do I need to do that? And it creates a lot of confusing. There's nothing we have to do because we already are it. But as long as we're thinking that we got to be on a path, you see, we're basically creating suffering. We're creating separateness from who I already am and what we already are. Okay? And just remember, we're all, let's say, oranges on a tree. And some oranges, do they not ripen before others? Now, you might pick an orange off a tree and it's not ripe, and you taste it and it's bitter. You might run across a person in life that tastes bitter. But it's really only because they're not ripe yet. So don't throw it away, or another month from now. Don't hold on to anything in the past, not even a second. Because it's gone. It doesn't exist. Every time we hold on to the past or start thinking about the future, we're really not living in the now. The very moment of just experiencing my fingers or The moment is now. But our we start thinking, and thinking disrupts everything. So you got these oranges on a tree. And some of us ripe sooner than others. So if, I've not perfect, ain't perfect, hadn't been perfect, and I've done stupid stuff. But we're always ripening, if you will. I mean, we're waking up, if you will. And some of us are waking up sooner than others. But we do have to wake up. But some of us will hold on to anger, and we'll hold on for 80, 90 years until we die. And we go to our grave holding on to something that we never had to hold on to. So anytime because we're telling ourselves we're a victim of something, they did something to me, to this self, this I that doesn't exist. That's the biggest thing I can share with you. We're all one. Not only are you the one perceiving, but you are the perceived. It's the God consciousness that's in everything. It's the God consciousness that's making metal do what metal does. It's the God consciousness that's making this paper do what paper does. It's the God consciousness that's in that weed outside. That's the same God consciousness that's aware of everything that's going on. So, don't hold on to anger. You're never a victim. And when we start realizing that the world out there, see, I believe it was Jesus says, love your enemy. And the only enemy is you. I mean, we're told, he who has not sinned, cast first stone. The big sin is the thought for self. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? That's what a cancer cell does. It's not about what's in it for me. It's just learning to let go. Don't think. Because thinking is saying, I don't believe in that omnipotent, omnipotent, whatever God. It's saying, I know better than whatever it is that had me born, that was there when I was born, that's going to be there when I die. That consciousness that's always there. That awareness that's always there. And we'll get further along in that. But one step at a time. And I do want to leave you with this. At one time in my life, a sandbox was the truth of my life. When I was probably 4 or 5 years old, I couldn't wait to go play in that sandbox. It meant everything to me. It was my life. Gonna play with those trucks and just have a ball. Little army men in there. That was reality. That was real. But I would look pretty weird today if I was still playing in that sandbox. But that's what us humans do. We've learned everything we could learn. We did the sandbox. Then it was the tricycle. Then it was the bicycle. Then it was a motorcycle or car. And then it was go to college. Then it was learn this, learn that. And then once we become an adult, it's like we've learned everything we're supposed to learn. Just climb up the ladder of success. I was watching video the other day about how back in the 50s, they get out of the service and get the family and get the house and get the car and live happily ever after. That wasn't the answer. The ego, if you will, the self is the last frontier to conquer. Because our ego has shown us we've got everything our ego could ever want and we're still not happy. Here's your sign. It's not out there. Okay? It's in here. You're not a victim, never were, never have been. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people have been through hell. But here we are today. Let's move on. All right? Thanks for sharing this time with me. See you again.